All right, recording has started.
All right, guys. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we get a productive session and get a lot of the, miniature stuff that's out of the way, that's causing us, the confusion and stuff like that. All right. So right now we are on the pound yen. I just went back. I don't know, back to August or something like that, and we're gonna start the simulation. Now what I'm going to be doing a lot of fast forwarding just to get into the point. We're gonna concentrate more on the London and U.S. session because the New York session will be a whole different. I mean, the Asian session will be a whole different scenario in itself because you got to take a lot more in consideration. So we're gonna be bypassing a lot of the Asian session to go straight into the London session. And on my left hand, you should see a 5-minute chart. On the right, you should see it's the 1-hour chart. Actually, let me pause this. Okay. I'll put the sessions also on the 1 hour, just to make it a little bit easier and know where we at. So as you can see, the Asian session just started with this box. I have it started like half an hour before what we actually need to start looking for trades, just to see the setups. So I'm gonna pause this. So we're in the middle of the Asian session, and we're anticipating the trades or trying to look for a trade when we get to the London session. So at this point, all we know is the higher time frame is pointing down. If you look at the 1 hour, is everybody? Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Okay.
sound
Yes.
Okay. The long-term H12 and D2 are pointing down. So you know the long-term trend is, as you can see, is down. But short-term, the 4 hour is indicating that it wants to move up temporarily, or at least temporarily, or maybe catch up to the lower time frames. Or this could be a change in direction. We don't know. But we know the 4 hour is blue, and we should only be looking for longs at this point, unless things change. So going into the London session, we already have a long mentality. So if we are going to go long in the London session, we're trying to see if we get a low in the London session to take advantage to the high of the London session and see if it plays out or not.
Only one question in the 5 minute, the candle correspond aquel time frame.
On the 5 minute, it looks like it's the 1 hour
Okay.
correspondence.
Okay, thanks.
Believe so, yes. All right, so we're gonna continue. Maybe speed it up a little bit using the 15. See, this is the nuance of the Asian session. You see all this back and forth? You know, everything is lined up to go long, but turns around right away. So it's hard to play the Asian session trying to use the higher time frames to coordinate to take your trades, you have to go down to a 1 minute because of this movement that happens on the Asian session. That's why it's a little harder to trade.
Yeah.
There is movement here, 19 pips, 14 pips, but you're going short against the overall trend. So you have to go to the lower. All right, so we're in the middle of the Asian session, getting close to the London session. And we're looking at the price action, and we're looking at the 4 hours getting strong. The 12-hour has shifted now. So now we're in sync with the H12 and 4. So now you're definitely looking to try to go long. And we're looking at the 1 hour and the 5 minute. The 1 hour is short. So while we're going into the London session, you want to see the shift from the 1 hour from short to go long. That will be indicating a possible low of that session, and we can start trading in that direction. Yeah, 30 minute and 1 hour is still short. So we want this to, give us, we're in the London session now. So you want the market to start pulling back to give you a better entry, right? Plus we got a yellow ball up here or X. So you want to see if it gives you a retracement to go long, since everything is long. So we are in the London session. And let's see what happens. Let's go down to a 1 minute and go bar for bar on the 1 minute. As you can see, the 15 minute is ready to be traded, but the 30 and the 1 hour are just not quite there yet. You do have the backing of the 4 hour. You see, 15 minute, you jump ahead, telling yourself the 15 minute is ready. Let me take a trade. I know it's going long. The market turns around because everything is not in sync. The key thing is trying to get everything in sync. You may sometimes not get your trade right away, or may lose out on the trade, but it's better to be safe than sorry. All right. At this point, you see the 1 hour has shifted. This is the beginning of the London session. So this is the initial high of the London session. And now you're going down to find the low of the London session, and then see if we get a trade to the upside. Now we're trying to trade off the 5 minute, correct?
Yes.
If you wanted to cash this, that means you will have to go down to there's a trade there, knowing that this is the high of the day. There is a trade there on the 1 minute. You have the 1 hour in sync with everything going up. So you can actually trade that if you go down to your 1 minute. And for illustration purpose, let me just put this up, template, load template.
I think you can. Yes, okay.
And if we're on the 1 minute, you'll have your trade, everything sunk up right here and right here. Right?
Yeah.
So you're waiting for this pullback to finish, and you can enter, somewhere in this area.
And that is what Rajit
And
means with the text that you write down, that you wait for 1 or 2 bars retracement. I don't know if I
is that a question?
Yes, the question is about Rajiv writing down the plan to enter. He said in the second line or the third line that he has to wait. You have to wait for 1 or 2 bars retracement before going. So is that bars what he refer about in, in the
Yes,
plan?
this,
Okay.
yeah, this is, if you're on the 1 minute, this is your yellow ball on the 1 minute, your 3 ball, and this is your retracement on the 1 minute. So you want a better price waiting for the retracement, and everything, everything lines up here, right? But you're in the middle of retracement, so you want that retracement to finish in order to know the momentum is going to continue in that direction. So this is the retracement we was talking about. You go from 1 ball to 1 ball, or 2 ball to 2 ball, and then come down, right? So, but where the H4 is long, so we're looking for a long opportunity, right? But in that sense, we still have short opportunities in the lower time frames. You just have to be able to shift, knowing that you're waiting for a long trade, but am I trading this short move? It is tradable. You just have to be able to shift back and forth and not get stuck, you know, not get stuck with one side mentality that it must go this way, it must go this way. The market, it moves in swings. So you have to be able to acknowledge what swing you're in at any particular time. So we wasn't thinking about taking this trade, but as Ella illustrated, the trade is there to be taken if you need to. So we're looking, we're going.
Can I interrupt? Rafael, did that answer your question?
Yes, he answered my question.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks, Raj. All right, that's all right. Oh, I think I went too far. Okay. All right, this is where the 1 hour, right? It hasn't caught up with the change in direction yet, correct? Let's look at the 1 minute. The 1 hour hasn't caught up with change in direction, and this is where we have to use either anticipate the move, right? As long as everything's in sync on the 1 minute. Okay. Now what we have here, we have the 4 hour saying he wants to go long on the 5 minute. The 30 minutes in sync with the 15 and along with the 5, as you can see on the 1 minute, but the 1 hour is not quite ready yet. Now on the 1 minute, we see that the 5 minute is in sync with the 15 and the 30. The 1 hour hasn't given us, the A-OK to go yet. Right. So we're not fully in sync with the 1 hour. Now one of the things that I look at, oops, where am I at? One of the things to pay attention to is, where's my line? Look at the slope. Okay. Look at the slope of this 1 hour. It is flat. Right. Compare that to this slope going down, this slope going down, this slope going up, this slope going up, this slope going down. It's flat. So you know that it being flat, the momentum to the downside is not continuing, right? So you still have that bias, that upward bias, and that's where your 30-minute and 15-minute come in play. Your 4 hours telling you to go long, correct? Your 30-minute is telling you to go long. 15-minute is telling you to go long. Back over. Where's my?
So basically, you're saying that the 1 hour is it's not in sync, but it's flat, meaning it's not a strong downtrend based on
It's
the color.
it's not strong down. Yeah, well, based on the color, it's telling you it wants to go down, but based on the momentum,
It's
it's
weak.
not that strong of momentum to shift to. Yeah, it's weak momentum to the downside. So you could take that into consideration that the momentum is not shifting all the way down to make a difference to turn this whole market around. Plus, you
Yeah.
have the momentum of the 4 hour, and the 30-minute is steadily shifting to go long. So to keep everything and so I'm giving you all the nuances that you're waiting for this to turn. So
Yeah.
we're gonna wait to it to turn. But these are the little things that I look at in order to say, okay, am I gonna take this trade early or not? Am I
Yeah.
gonna take that chance? But if you do, that's the things you have to consider.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where's my. Oh, there we go.
Or you can use that, also interpret that as further evidence that it may
Okay.
be changing. There you go.
Correct. So this is where the confusion comes in. If we're looking at the back testing, right? We're saying that it changed right here.
Yeah.
That's where the actual momentum changed, but we didn't see it change until. Let's go
It
back.
was
It
well
was telling
into.
us no. It was well into it, right? So that's where the anticipation comes in, where we know the momentum to the downside is not there, right? We know this is lagging a little bit, correct?
Yeah.
So we have to take in consideration the 30-minute and the 15 to get our trade because this is lagging.
Yeah.
So if we're waiting for everything to line up, sometimes everything depending on the price action, this is a lot of sideways movement. So it's going to take longer, right?
Yeah.
You
And
have
that's
to make that
exactly what's
choice.
gotten me. Yeah.
Hi, I got a
Yeah,
question.
and
Can you hear me?
go ahead. Yes.
Why not? Okay, if you go back, why not look at on your 5 minute? You see that the 4 hour is strong, has a strong uptrend line. So why not just take the trade and look for longs back in the Asian session when it made the low and everything
No,
that's
correct.
above
Yeah,
1 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, and the 15 minute, just wait for those to line up to go long and just play off the 4 hour momentum and then just wait for the lower time frame to link up with the 4 hour. And the trade is way back in the Asian session.
correct. Yeah, we acknowledged that earlier as far as it was tradable in the Asian session because the 1 minute was sunk up to go in that direction. But we said we was going to bypass the Asian session because of the uh, the inconsistency and just go straight into the London session. But we did illustrate that it was tradable in the Asian session where everything lined up,
Okay.
especially on the 1 minute. It was somewhere around here, so it was tradable. But a lot of people are not able to trade the Asian session, and then the Asian session I think is a beast on its own. That we got to take
Oh,
a lot of stuff in consideration.
okay.
Yeah, so that we'll probably do one on the Asian session alone to iron out all the inconsistency, and that's what I'm working on now. Is how to use the 1 minute to iron out all the stuff in the Asian session that gets us, ate up, and not using too much of the higher time frame.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the
yeah, you're
Asian
right. There
session
was a
gets.
trade there in there.
Yeah. I mean, your ranges in the Asian session are just generally not there. I mean, it's a tighter range than
Yeah,
what.
look at that as a 21 pip range compared to a London session, which could be a 40, 50 pip range.
Yeah.
you know. Plus, this is the pound yen. It has big swings. As you can see, it swung down and up quite frequently. But this is the inconsistency that everybody got to get used to. And how do we manage that? Is that the 1 hour is not ready yet, correct? If we go to the 1 minute. Let's go back. We know we're looking for longs, right?
Is there a
Yes.
reason the sessions are offset so much from where they should be easy to see on your 1 hour side over there with the day markers? Is that because of the simulation has a different platform time than?
Correct. I had to adjust the agent session to match the true time because the simulator doesn't give me the actual start time that we use. It's because of simulation. Also, it would be if I use the same time as my regular platform, it'll be
Sure.
off by 3 hours.
Mhm. Okay.
So it looks like this is the starting, but that's not actually the start. The starting is over here somewhere. So the platform is off by 3 hours compared to what we're used to. Yeah, so never mind. Maybe I should take that off because it's deceiving. What is it? Control Y.
It is.
It's not coming off.
Sorry to interrupt, by the way.
Oh, oh, there we go. Control Y. So we're gonna take that off so we don't. We get the right timing. Just pay attention to the timing of the boxes. Those are our true time that we actually use on most of our platforms. So we know that the H12 and the 4 are bullish, so we're only looking for long trades. But when we come down to the 5 minute, we're waiting for everything to be in sync, right? You know, the 1 hour was in sync in the Asian session. So we hit a high, and now we're trying to find the low of the London session. But the 1 hour is still pointing down like it wants to continue to go short. Let's go back to the 1 minute. All right, so at this particular point right here, the 15 minute and the 30 minute are not in sync yet. Now they got in sync here, right? Shit, why is it? Let me do this. Sorry, guys. It just keeps getting away from me, and I might as well just incorporate it.
Do you have 1 minute data loaded into the simulator? How fine did you go in detail?
What you? I don't understand the question as far as this is my 1 minute simulation
Mhm.
chart on the left.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you mean in detail? What can you expand the question or?
I thought with that, you didn't have to go as fine as 1 bar per minute to load all the data into the simulator, but
No. I'm doing a 1 minute.
yeah.
You mean to
You
go
can
forward? I'm doing the
actually,
1 minute because it gives.
you can advance it by 1 minute at a time, in other words.
Yes, I can do 5, 15, whatever I want to pick. So right now I'm at a 1 minute, so we can see bar for bar, every minute bar. So we could see the transition forming, which is what when we're in real lifetime, that's what you're going to be seeing. And this is what causes the problem and the issues of people waiting for the 1 hour to sync up, but it hasn't sunk up. But the momentum to the downside is not there yet. But yeah, the 1 minute allows us to go bar for bar, so we can see everything happening as it's transforming.
Thank you.
And if I do it live, I'll just do it by itself. But I'm trying to control so we can have a discussion while it's happening. So you see the 5 minute is attempting to pull back on a 1 minute, but we are in sync. 15 and 30 minute are in sync. Okay. So now everything's in sync as far as the 15, 30 minute and the 5, right, on the 1 minute, right? The 1 hour is not quite there yet. So if you wanted to take this trade, wanted to at least attempt to take this trade, you know, you would have to go off the 30 minute, assuming that this 1 hour hasn't turned yet, but the momentum is not down to 1 hour. It's just a matter of time for it to turn. So this will be the earliest entry, just using the 15 and 30 minute, knowing that this is the low of the London session. So if you decide to enter that, you will actually have to go down to your 1 minute to fine tune your entry, which would be, if you was to enter on here, your stop would be a 4 pip stop maybe, because this is your last swing down. So let's see when the actual 1 hour kicks in. You're about 4 pips on that trade. Now the 1 hour kicked in. So as you can see, the 1 hour really was set up to go somewhere in here. It was just not illustrating here because of the multiplier. If we go over here, we're using the 1 hour, right, multiplier. On the 5 minute, it takes into consideration that it has to be a complete hour before it changes. Correct?
That's right.
So let's see something. Hey, Rajiv, did you want to change the setting to see if any difference on it, or we can come back to that later?
We'll come back to that later, but if you use the 5 minute time frame with the multiplier, you don't have to wait 12 bars for the color to change. It changes every 5 minutes, or possibility of every 5 minutes. That's the difference. That's why you get a more active bar with a multiplier than with the actual time setting.
Correct.
You think maybe y'all could use a 45 minute? Because that's 30 minutes between the 30 minute and the 1 hour. That's why you're not seeing the color change till later. And you got the 15 and the 30, which is 15 minutes apart. And then you waiting for another 30 minutes. So you think maybe if it can incorporate it 45 minutes?
Well, I've been playing around with using the 30 minute, even the 15 minute, and then doing just a straight 5 minute multiplier. And that's one thing we take into consideration. And you know, that's one of the things we're doing this is
one thing I want to add is that you don't have to wait 15 bars for the color to change. The color will change. It's just get finalized after 15 bars on a 1 hour time frame, I guess. 12 bars on a 5 minute chart with the 1 hour at the bottom. The color of the bars on the 5 minutes will change, but it's going to show the 5 minute momentum during the 1 hour. But it doesn't get set till the end of that 1 hour if you're using the 1 hour time frame. That's the only difference. That's why you see the fluctuations when the price goes up and down.
correct.
If the price is changing, or if the color of the bars is changing in between that 1 hour, you're getting a sideways market because the price is going up, it's going down, it's going up and going down. Each fluctuation is then causing the color of the bars to change. It's a heads up. To me, it's preferable to get the heads up than have something in there that's going to tell me to get out because I'm getting out at the change of the color of the bar. It's just how you do your exits and how you manifest your trading. That's the difference here.
Now the other thing you have is the bars. The bars hadn't changed color, right? And this is where the bars become helpful as far as you're still bullish. So when you do come with to the consistency and the 1 minute chart lines up with the 30 minute, 15 and the 5 minute line up, the bar on your 5 minute is still blue. So you're only going long. So that's one thing you also to take in consideration. That's one of the reasons we put the bar here is to help us with which direction we need to be trading also. And you see the bar never changed red. So everything is bullish. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rajiv.
I guess I didn't pay attention, sorry. If the
No,
bars, the bars also, I mean, they will fluctuate if it's a sideways market. All
Yeah,
the
correct.
color,
The-
the fluctuation in the color of the bars is telling you that the market is not decided which direction it wants to take.
No, correct. I was talking about the candle, the actual chart.
Yeah, I mean, the fluctuation on the color is the same, but what you're saying is you're getting a downward move with a blue candle. The thing is, which one are you on? You're on the 1 hour chart there, right? Where your arrow is. And that's a 4 hour candle or a 5 minute chart with a 1 hour candle. It's just telling you the momentum on the 1 hour is still long. This is just a slight fluctuation of the price on the 5 minute. That's all it's saying. So you should not be looking for a short just because you got a red ball at the top, 2 ball at the top.
Correct. So yeah, the momentum is still long.
Correct.
Even with this, the fluctuation, the actual time that it should be turning is not there yet. Your candles are still blue, so you only should be taking longs. So when you had this retracement, you know, the 1 hour is not set yet. But when you go down to the 1 minute, 30 minute, 15 and 5 is set to go long. And that's how we were able to take this trade long. That's how you go back and forth when your higher time frame is not quite ready. But everything is saying everything should be bullish. You have to time it on your lower time frame. All right, let's continue. We supposedly got, if you're looking at the 1 minute, you could have got your trade in there. Now your 5 minutes in sync. So at this point, you should be out of this market. Everything is changed color. Everything is changing color right here. And everything, even the 1 hour changed color here. So it definitely needs to be out of that market. 7 pips made as much as 11 pips. Because now the momentum is even shifting in the 1 hour and 15 and 30.
And what's the time of that
But our
bar?
bias is, excuse me?
Well, what's down over at the 1 minute? What's the time of the color change with those bars in the middle chart? We can't see the timestamp, so I'm just wondering when it
Okay.
actually happened in reference to the hour. Was it at the top of the hour that this is happening?
Yeah, it's right at 7.
Okay,
Right at the top of the hour
yeah.
where the fluctuation is happening. So you have a new hour as the market's going to fluctuate. But at this point, we're looking to see if we get another entry to go long.
And are we still using the
Right.
4 hour to signify the low of the day?
Correct. The 4 hour started over here, turning. So this area right here is your low of the day, and we are looking for the high of the day. So far, we found a low of the session and the initial high of the session that got broken. So right now we're at a high point in the session, right? We're having a pullback. This could be the the next high of the London session, the high of the London session. But in order to go short, we need confirmation. We need the 5 minute to go across. If this has shifted to a downtrend. Oops, where did it go? I should let it play. Let's stop it on it. No. Okay. So you see that the market pulled back, correct? And it changed everything back to blue. Let's go back. Everything was red here. Everything was red here. The market pulled back, and now it's changed everything close to this bar. Probably 1, 2, 4. Okay. So in this bar, everything is back being bullish.
And this
Right.
is why I'd
Uh,
follow the 4-hour trend on the 5 minute, because the 1 hour, 15 and 30 will fluctuate.
It's been
But if the 4 hour is steady,
fluctuating.
I stay in that direction.
Correct.
Makes sense.
So if correct. So
Yes.
this is where the market pulled back. As you can see the fluctuation, right? And like Rajesh said, if you're just following the 4-hour, then you wouldn't be getting out when we said get out, right? But this is an opportunity to get back in if I guess if you were scalping. But the 4-hour is still strong, so we letting it, trying to find the high today. The 1-hour flickered when it went back. So if you did get out, this would be an opportunity to get back in. But your stops will be a 9 pip stop at this point. So if you had your original entry and you're following the 4-hour, the fluctuation wouldn't get you out. So this is the mindset that we all go through. Is we see the fluctuations, and like I said earlier, okay, we need to get out. But if you're focused on the long-term trend, right, then you would take that chance of not getting stopped out to continue that trend in that direction. And this, unfortunately, that's part of the market psychology. Is what am I following? I'm following the 4-hour trend, but how do I deal with these fluctuations while they're happening?
So
Am
from your
I
entry
gonna,
to your current position, how many pips is it?
from the entry, that is about 13 pips right now.
Okay, so another 2 pips and I'll put my stop loss at a break even and then I'll just let it run. That's the way I usually trade is, I'm up 15 pips. I don't want to lose, I'm protecting my account at that point. If I'm at break even, the best that the market can do against me is to get me out with no money made. And that way I'm
Right.
comfortable following the 4-hour trend. That's just the way I manage my
Correct.
trade.
So correct. This is where your entry, this is the last 1 minute swing, right? you are almost at break even, protecting at least 2 pip to cover your spread, depending on the spread of your platform.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you see all the little fluctuation. Now everything's back in sync. 5 minute is fluctuating, meaning it may be in a pullback mode again. But at this point, you are up 16 pips.
Again, your personal goals come into play, right? So if you're making like 20 pips a day and you're at 20 pips, good place to get out. You made your pips and go about your life, right? You should be up about 20 pips right now.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
as much
yeah.
as 22 pips.
Right. This is where goals and all that comes in. You know, what kind of life do you want to lead? Do you want to stay with the trade and make as much as possible, or you met your goal to wash your hands, get off the charts, lead your life with your family?
And it's still going strong. Let's see where we at. So at this point, you've been as high as 20, 24 pips, 23 pips. Okay. The market is still moving strong. So this is where you start adjusting your stops. This is the last swing on the 1 minute down, and you at least have 14 pips 14, 15 pips protected. You could have met your goal already at this point. 30 pips. If your goal is close to 30 pips, you're almost there. That should have met your 30 pip goal if that's your goal for the day. 31 pips. But everything is still strong. We're trying to find the high of the day now. We found the low of the day, and the 4 hours trending up, and we're looking for the high of the day to take, at least the high. Start looking at the high of the session to start forming in order to get out.
For
Okay.
you, do you usually have a 10-minute on there instead of what is the chart that you have a 10-minute histogram on that you've been
Okay,
showing
that's
us?
yeah, that would be on the. I just replaced the 15-minute with a 10-minute
Okay,
just to get a faster reaction.
Yeah.
But I mean, the 15-minute along with the 5-minute, you can still do the same thing. This is what we started with, and we'll continue using the 15 unless we find the 10-minute. I'm still playing around with the 10-minute. If the 10 minutes it makes a big difference or not. But over here, if you're looking at the 1 minute, you have the 5-minute to assist you with the 15-minute. So, I'm still playing around with it. And that is an option out there if you wanted to use or not. Okay, so this is where the London has reached 42 pips, right? Which is, it can go on a strong move and go to 60 or 70, but 42 is kind of average. It's twice the amount of the Asian range. So the market has already moved quite a bit. It's gonna want to start resting if it's gonna continue to go up or reverse, right? So you have to take that in consideration and not let the greed factor kick in. Markets already moved 42 pips in the London session. That's quite a move, you know.
Yeah, to where I can't hear
If
you
you go
again,
back to
sorry.
look at all the averages. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you break up
Thi-
occasionally.
This is okay. Sorry about that. This is where the market has moved 42 pips in one direction in one session. So you have to be open to the fact that the market is going to pause or it has reached its limit, possibly reached its limit for the move up. So you have to start paying attention, either to start getting out, or if you're up 33 pips, do you take that and wait for another setup? Because the 5 minute is already pulling back, 15 is changing color, 30 minutes changing color, right? We're still, the H1 hasn't changed color, the 4 hour hasn't changed color, so we're still looking for the high today. But do take in consideration that a market can easily pull back and then continue its trend later on.
Move
we'll
your
see what
stop
happens.
loss to the pivot below the cross. Yeah.
Okay, so this is where you could actually protect 25 pips and let the market run a little bit. Let the market run to see if it's going to attempt a new high. If not, it's going to take you out, and then we just have to wait for another setup. Or this could be the turnaround point. Who knows? There we go. So we was able to protect the pips, and gave the market a chance that if it wanted to continue to go up, let it go up. And now it's coming back and it's breaking this low, or it's at least came back to that low. But you were as much as 34 pips in profit. You still have 25 pips protected. All right, market probably didn't quite get you out. Probably got you out already. So you're out of the market at this point. And with all this shift, with the 15-minute, 30-minute, you see the slope on the 15-minute? That's a strong momentum change, right? That's a strong momentum change. I'm just showing you, the different little things that I look at. If this 15-minute was flat, then I'll be confident that the market's going to continue to go up, even though it was red. This 15-minute is giving strong momentum change, right? Right there. 15 minutes giving you strong momentum change. So you can make a decision. Everything is turning red to get out, with more profit. Or if you're satisfied with the 20 pips, you can let the market go to see if it's actually going to make a new high. Those decisions you have to be made, but as long as you have your profits protected, that's up to the trader if he's willing to take the profit up here, right here, which is a difference of 6 pips, or risk of those 6 pips to see if the market's going to go higher or not. But it's starting to give you indication that the market is exhausted from this big move.
I got a
Like I
question.
said, also taking consideration. Correct.
I mean, if we are talking about market structure, and I know at this point we're looking at, the day-to-day trade, but as far as looking at the big picture, when we looking at the 1 hour, can we actually say that we are in just a pullback from a higher time frame? Because you see where it peaked out on your 1 hour, push down, pull back, push down, and pull back. So we're actually in a pullback. So if we were, say, if I came in late to this trade and I saw it already pushing up, if we're looking at a big
Mhm.
picture standpoint, we can honestly say we're just in a pullback. So we're not looking for this market possibly to go possibly that far.
Yeah, you look at the D2, the D2 is red and pointing down. So you know you're trading against the long term anyway.
Okay, okay, so, alright,
Correct. Yeah, correct. So short term, we're only looking for long, because that's where we at. Long term, we know that we're going against a long term trend, but if we come into the market today, in order to trade this long term, we will have to wait for this to set up and start coming back down. But if you come in today, you know that, okay, we're only trading long according to the H12 and the H4 until either the D2 decides to change direction or the H4 and H12 gets back in sync with the D2. So for now, we know that we're going against the long-term trend, but for short-term, we're going in the right direction as far as the trend. But you do have to keep in mind, like you said, that this is a move down. This is a retracement move down. This could just easily be a retracement for another move down. So yes, you do need to take that in consideration. So when the H4 starts to change, then you know that that move up is pretty much over. That will be your high of the day. Okay, where were we?
Your sloppiest trades or your sloppiest days are going to be where the market is trying to turn around. And you know when the
Yeah,
market is going to turn around when neither the H4, H12, D2 in consecutive order are in sync. So if the H4 turns red, H12 remains blue, and the D2 turns red, is still red, you're at a turnaround point and it's an indecision. And you do not want to be trading long term at that point. So you need to drop to your 1 minute or 5 minute trade. Make sense?
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, that makes sense.
so when we to identify transitions, do we mainly look at the 12 hour to kind of help with that?
Now, you're looking at 3 on the 1 hour, right? H4, H12, and D2. Any 2 in sequence, if they're in sync, you have a trend in a certain direction. You're just waiting for the third to, come into sync with the other 2, right? So in this case, the H4 and H12 were blue and they're in sync. So you have a trade, but it's a trade on the 15 minute, 5 minute, or the 1 minute, okay? But now you're seeing the H4 turning red, whereas the H12 is still blue and the D2 is red. You are at a turning point at this point. Indecision is what I say. You don't know which direction it wants to go into. You should be out. You shouldn't stay on the market on the 1 hour time frame. So now, but if you look at the 5 minute, your H4 and H1 are in sync, right? And your M30 is in sync. You're just waiting for the M15 to come around and give you another saddle or a fresh cross to go short. But your trades are on the 5 minute and the 1 minute at that point. You're not. You're looking at the 1 hour just to see if the long-term trend comes into sync. Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
So now that you see that the 1 hour has changed color, right? 30 minute already had changed color, giving you heads up. This is now the high of the London session. And now the 4 hour has changed, and this could actually be the high of the day. So everything, all the higher time frame changed color. Now you are shifting direction to looking for shorts for now, unless things change. Now I know this looks tempting. This is 20 pips down, right? But everything hadn't set up yet to let you know that this was a high of the day. This is where the anticipation part comes in, that you know that this has been moving 44 pips. The market wants to retrace. So this, you know that you're at the high of the session. Are you going to go down and trade that, or wait for better confirmation for everything to align to start taking trades to the downside? Right. At the start, right now, I wouldn't recommend to trade like this, scalping, unless you completely know the system and know the ins and outs and can anticipate this move down. You know, we want to try to stick with it when we see everything in sync, or trying to get in sync in one direction. It's going to be your best safety move.
So that's when we need to wait for that
But
pullback on the 5.
yeah, that's why we need to wait for a pullback. Correct. We have a move down. We have a this is what the balls come in place where it can help you wait for a retracement. And you see the 15 minute is not ready to go short. You want it to cycle or saddle, you know, to give you a move down. Is what the patience comes in. You know, you just have to be patient. As you can see, the 1 minute is already giving you a 3 ball.
Could you explain that a little more?
The 3 ball, the X.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, the X ball is just a 3 ball. You had a 1 ball was orange. This is a small swing. So the 2 ball is a larger swing, intermediate swing, and the X will be changed because the ball is so big, it kind of clutters the price action. We change it to an X, which is your larger swing. So you go from X to X, you know, 2 to 2, 1 to 1. Those are your small swings, bigger swings, and this is your long-term swing. And each time frame will have its own swing. So on the 1 minute, it's topping out. On the 5 minute, you're in a 1 ball swing, so it's a short swing. So you're expecting the market to reverse.
Okay, thank you.
And this is where the 12-hour the 12-hour is not in sync with the 4-hour. So you're no longer looking for direction from the 12 hours at this point. You're only strictly looking for direction of the 4-hour. And there should be a 5 minute 5 minute or a 1 minute trade in order to get in. If these two were in play, you can actually go down to your 15 minute if you want to. But I preferably like to trade off the 5, and now I'm starting to gear more towards the 1 minute and the 5 combination.
And just for some historical
Nice.
perspective, Santiago was very leery about trading the 1 minute. So if he's getting down to the
Oh
5
yeah,
minute, go ahead.
I hated the 1 minute. Every time we discussed that before, I was like, no, I'll stick with my 5 and 15. Would not touch the 1 minute at all. And now I'm starting to see how I can, as long as you wait for the right entries and the trend to change and everything's in sync, the 1 minute is perfect. You know, you could take your trades off the 1 minute. Just have to be patient.
Yeah, his gold trade was on the 1 minute chart that he posted. If you know, guys noticed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I was just strictly looking at the 1 minute and waiting for the market to top out. And then everything got in sync to the downside, and I was able to take my trade with a very, very low stop. All right, so we see the transition. Yeah, for a pair that moves 80,
Right.
90, 100 pips
Yeah.
easily. It's okay. So we see the transitioning of the market, right? We have a retracement. So now we can start trying to home in to see if we can get a trade to the opposite direction, since everything is, we at the high of the day and the high of the session.